1, go!
When the last Godzilla movie came out, everyone said the exact same thing. It was pretty cool. We just wish we could stop focusing on the boring human characters and focus on the giant monsters. So does its sequel, Godzilla King of the Monster, improve on this? Well, I will say at the very least they gave us not as boring human characters to focus on. Honestly, I still think they were very stupid for killing off Bryan Cranston's character in the first movie. I feel like his acting was the best in the entire series and he didn't even last half of the first movie. I do think that this movie series of Godzilla takes itself a little bit too seriously for the whole monster movie franchise, but at the very least the monsters do go to these crazy places in this movie that the first one didn't. I think one of the things that's pretty weak is that I don't always understand all the characters' motivations. Like, there's this one guy who is basically our lead, played by Kyle Chandler. His motivation is that he hates all of the monsters, or Titans as they are called in this movie, because his son was killed in the San Francisco attack in the first movie. Okay, I get it. It's a personal motivation and it makes sense. But then you have some of the other characters in this movie where I just don't get where their stupid logic is coming from, or their naivete where they just believe anything and they're surprised when monsters are running around. And that includes the villain of the movie, who wants to unleash all the monsters on the world to reshape the world or something like that. I mean, the thing that I gotta ask is, how does he have so many people following him? Most movies you can understand henchmen because bad people want money and will do bad things to get money. But in this movie, if the guy succeeds, money will basically be worthless because he wants to unleash all these monsters on the earth so we can reshape it. Who's following this person if they're not a cult member? I also found some of the story elements kind of rushed, especially with some of the other monsters like Mothra, and then they didn't really even set up that well that the military just wanted to blow up the monsters. I mean, they mentioned it in the beginning, then all of a sudden, a general shows up in the middle of the movie who we have not seen and says, "We're gonna blow them up!" And while I don't really blame them necessarily, it's just like, who are you and where did you come from? And while I will say the fights are actually pretty good, there isn't any one wow moment. Like, the first one didn't have enough focus on the fights, but in the end it had one of the coolest moments of the year, and that's saying something because 2014 was a pretty epic year. But there was that moment where he ripped open the monster's mouth and breathed his atomic breath into it, and everyone cheered. There isn't really a moment like that in this movie. It's just your basic monster fighting fodder. And I think there was a few too many scenes that were characters either standing in awe or other times where characters were about to be killed and then Godzilla saves them. A little bit too many times they did that. I will say though that for the most part I enjoyed the film, but it isn't really a film that I love or really even feel like I ever really need to see again. So I am giving Godzilla King of the Monsters a 5.5 out of 10. It's just a slightly above average film. And I think the reason why I enjoy this movie is there's a few things like the effects are very good and consistently good throughout the whole movie. I really like how the music hypes you up for the fights. The score is really good for this movie and really gets you ready to see some monsters kicking butt. So in the end, I will say if you're interested in Godzilla, I'd say see it, but as far for monster movies are concerned, this one definitely isn't the king. P.S. So one thing that I will say is a little bit of a nitpick, but I still gotta ask about, why isn't this movie in Japan? I mean, Godzilla is a Japanese character. And honestly, they switch locations like 1,000,000 times in this movie, but not once do they go to Japan. I mean, seriously, that would be like me making a movie about Dudley Do-Right the Mountie and putting him in Africa.